Rio. Yeah, buddy. Let's see what we got here. Let's hop over here. Hey, what's up? What's up? Let me get this a little bit more adjusted here. What's up? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. This thing is a little loose, so we're gonna just leave it alone. Actually, how about that? How about that? Let's see. We are coming in, looking good. Yeah. Hey, what's up? Let's get started. I'm trying to get this other cam going, but it is being very resistant here. Unfortunately, that's annoying. Hope everybody's been doing well. It's been a little while since my last stream, which is sad. You know? Been a little sad. Hey. Hey, Sammy. Hey, Big Max. Michael. Let's see. Is that Nikolai? How about that? That's awesome. Good to see y'all. Indeed. Let me pivot this over. God, what am I doing? Yeah. Okay. That is good. This is still being annoying. So, come on now. Ah, there you go. Whew. Got it. The camera over there that looks over my leg wasn't wanting to work with me today, but that's all right. We got this. We got this. We'll position this a little different. I'm going to be working on a variety of projects today. Be working on some a variety set of diamond painting pens, and then be working on some fountain pens as well. So I'll show you both of those here in a minute. So it looks like we got everything sorted except that. That's not good. This needs to come there. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Nailed it. First try. First try. Been waiting for me to stream. Oh man, oh man. All right, let's see. What were we working on? What are we working on? So this is some of the stuff here that we got. These are the purple ones, and we had to actually make these blanks twice because there were air bubbles in the other ones, and it doesn't look good. So we had to remake that, and I'll use those other little pieces for other little odds and ends of projects. And then we have kind of a hodgepodge of different ones that we're going to be doing. So you might see some colorways that you've previously seen and some upcoming ones. Well, not upcoming ones. Sorry. Probably ones that you've seen, and then some that you also have not seen, depending on how long you've been following along. But yes. Let's see. So I gotta show this as well. These are some. Whoop, these are the blanks that are cut and stuff for the Orlando show. This is one of the commissions that you can put your name on a list and get on that I will make. And then let's see. These over here are going to be the other ones that we're working on. So we made a great deal of progress on these. So these are going to be the ones that are the show exclusive, and then if we do not sell out, then they will be available later on. So yeah, the sections are already shaped, and they're in these caps here. So yeah, that is the other thing that we'll be working on. So cool. But yeah, I got a variety pack of these blanks. So if you're a blank maker, you'll probably see some of these, maybe extract some inspiration from some of these. And then the Magnum opus pen that we made is actually done. Let me go get that right quick. I don't know if you remember, but one of my last streams was making that. And then somebody else had asked, what's your Magnum opus? And I was like, that's a good question. I don't know. But every year in Orlando Pen Show, this will be our third year going to the Orlando Pen Show. And here, actually, I'll just leave it like that. So the Orlando Pen Show is, well, our favorite. One of our favorites for sure, is because it's right near Universal, and it's also the time of year that there's Halloween Horror Nights. So, Mike, yeah, you probably wouldn't like Halloween Horror Nights. There's some cool stuff, but if you don't like horror stuff, then you would obviously not like Halloween Horror Nights. Anyway, that's a Universal Studios thing. But the Magnum Opus pen is in here. So I've got it in here. You may or may not have known that we did get a 3D printer. We ended up getting a Bamboo Labs P1S Pro, I think. And so that thing, right out of the box, if you're looking for something that's easy to use right out of the box, that's it. So I was very happy about that. And I'm not trying to sell you. I don't care if you buy it or not. I'm just saying, if you were looking for the easiest printer that I've ever used, I used an Ender 3 as well. And it was just not quite what I wanted it to be. I think is the way to say that. But let's see. There we go. All right, so the Magnum Opus. Magnum Opus. I know you're ready. You're ready. Okay, so the theme of this, we did a video on it and kind of gave the spiel about all of the different criteria that it needed to be and stuff like that. But ultimately, it either needed to be a beach theme or it needed to be an Orlando Pen Show theme. And we went with kind of an under the sea thing. So I present to you, friend. This is the case it'll come in. It'll be in a stand that's like this. So let me move this out of the way. It'll be in a stand like this. Whoop. Sorry, you can't really see that. There we go. All right, so there it is. So really, there's so many different pieces to this pen that that we made. So looking at it, you can kind of see obviously that there's the blue. Let me make this bigger so you don't see. Okay. Let me fix this right quick. I'm going to transform. There we go. Rotate counterclockwise 90 degrees. There we go. There, that's better. Sorry, I had it set up for me to start turning, but here we go. All right, so this is the blank that we used is one of Abbie's blanks. this blue and white part here, and it's called bioluminescence, and it does glow. And then we did an Operex accent. That was kind of the theme of it. So ocean, blue, and then as far as the craftsmanship aspect goes, I added a accent Operex band here, and on the bottom I intentionally did the top one a little thicker because kind of to show that that's the top. And then we have a mother of pearl inlay on the top and on the bottom, and mother of pearl comes from, come on now, focus. Focus, Daniel-san. All right, I guess that's as good as it's gonna get. But yeah, so that, and then down here, up here, and then here, we have Juma. So I haven't even opened it yet, but yeah. So we have Juma, or mother of pearl, Juma, Operex, and then regular resin that actually glows. So I guess it's not regular necessarily, but it glows. And then we have a Juma part here and a Juma part down here with the accent band. Now when you open it up, oh yes, you can see that there is a Juma and Operex section, which I think is pretty dang cool. Yeah, those are that will be our entry pin here. So whoever asked what my Magnum opus was, there. This is the newest one. And this is a combination of Abbie and I working together. I do all the components, and then she sands and polishes them all. And this was actually primarily her idea as far as the design aspect of it. And I threw a little bit of flair in there, here and there. So I did the section Operex and then the Juma part here. So that was kind of my contribution, I suppose. And then everything else was, obviously my execution. But each part, like if we're going to count all the parts, we have mother of pearl times 2, so that's 2. Juma parts, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 6 parts. Operex, 1, 2, 3. We're at 9. And then the actual blank itself, and then the converter is in here. It's a Schmidt style converter, and it's got the Jowo nib. Jowo number 6. And then it's got our logo on it as well, if it'll show up. You can kind of see it, I guess. It doesn't laser super deep, and so you can feel it on the surface, but it doesn't laser super deep. If it did, you'd probably be concerned about lasering or heating up too much the feed here. So yeah, this is our show pin that we're going to do our best to raise as much money as we can. So yeah, and it fits in this little guy. It won't be traveling in here. We're just kind of keeping it in here for storage because we don't actually want it to wiggle around inside this or anything. But yeah, there you go. That's it. Boom. So I'll be making a video of the whole making of this. I have to condense like 5 hours of stuff in order to make a video out of it. So it'll probably end up being like probably a 15-20 minute video, hopefully. But yeah, I'll condense like 5 hours of making this into a small video. And then You know, obviously we threw our logo in there because we thought that would be cool. But yeah. So, can I do calligraphy pins? That's a great question. Yeah, of course. Of course. Sammy. Yep. So, the calligraphy pins that I've recently made actually are like this here. So this is one of the calligraphy pins that I made, and it's based off of the parallel pen. If you've ever heard of that, I was testing out something there, but so this design was made from a parallel pen. So I thought I had even made a different section too, because you can pop this bead out and put it into a different section, but this, if you leave what's already there as far as like the parallel pin part, you can just use the existing threads on there, and then you'll also be able to see ink that's in your pin. So it's almost like a demonstrator display sort of thing if you have it like that. So the upcoming models that I've got made too aren't going to have that little collar right there because it makes the cap significantly longer. So I opted not to do that. So there's the parallel, and these are actually other ones that are in queue to be finished up. But yeah, these are all fit for the parallel, which are different kind of specific threads. So that's kind of that there, and then it also posts, and it's nice and far away from your hand when you're writing, so it won't actually interfere. So I need to kind of refine my process on getting that part measured out, but yeah, these are all parallel pins. Well, will be parallel pins. But yeah, these blanks are what Abbie made, and they're called pastel prisms. But yeah, let's see. Looks really nice, thank you. Halo brow. I don't know what that means. I do have some bushy eyebrows though. You do calligraphy pins? Yes, indeed. Nothing about pins, but I've always wanted a set of calligraphy pins. Heck yeah. Well, I mean, if you want them from a small batch maker, you know I'm here. Or if you wanted, let's see, I don't think I have any of the boxes out here or the parallel pins, but the Pilot parallel pin has a variety of different sizes from like, I think it's 1.5 to 6 millimeter width. Maybe it's just 5. It's 5 or 6 on the width. This one I think is like a 2. This one's a 2.4. Yeah, so this one's a 2.4. And the way that these work, if you don't already know, is the ink comes down, and this little metal here, there's actually 2 pieces of metal that the ink flows in between. So you can actually get in between here and there. Well, maybe I can't, but there we go. I don't want to mess it up, but you can stick like a piece of paper in between there, and sometimes that'll also help clean it out if that is you've used it for a little bit and then you had like glitter or shimmer ink in there. It'll be your way to help get it out. Let's see. Reach out, right on. But yeah, these are ones that that I made in prep for the Orlando show. I didn't get enough of them done in time for the the San Francisco show. But that is all right. Ooh, let me knock and see if Abbie's here. I think she is. She loves it. She loves being... Oh, sorry. I do have a parallel pen here. Here you go. Whoop. There you go. But yeah, really all I did was recreate that part and that part. And then you can still use the ink that comes with it in these. And then obviously you'd be able to swap out the different sections here if you had a preference, a different profile between 2.4 to 3 to 6, whatever it was that you were going for. So that is one of the other projects that I've been working on, honing my process. I've made probably like 4 different ones so far, and I think this is the one that I've come to realize that I like the most. But yeah. Yes, indeed. But yeah, so a couple things as well. Note, I started with a washer for this, and logic would suggest that a washer would be acceptable. However, I should have trimmed the washer down first to the diameter I wanted it, because as I turned it, it obviously heated up. But because the resin was so thin here and up here, it kind of melted it a little bit. And so it kind of made it a little bit weird. Yeah. I just started. Didn't know if you wanted to do a quick San Fran recap.
Sure.
Yep. I know. I heard you. But I was just talking about the parallel pen. I brought out the Magnum opus.
Oh, nice.
So yeah. Let me get this set up right quick. Oh, sorry. There we go. There we go. First try. First try. So move over here and then come over here. Oh, sorry. There we go.
You did all kinds of things. Hey everyone. Hope you guys had
Here you go.
a good week. It's been a little while since John streamed, or that I've been on stream, probably even longer than that. But I just got back from the San Francisco Pen Show yesterday. John picked me up from the airport. I am tired. I am still on California time, but it was an awesome show. So this is my second year going, and I sat at Jonathan Brooks' table last year from Carolina Pen Company. He was kind enough to let me sit with him. And then this year I sat with Bart from Zodiac Pen Company. And so I haven't been able to get my own table. I haven't been able to get in as a vendor. Hi, Sammy. Even though I've been on the list. So I'm still on the list to hopefully get my own table at San Francisco at some point. But it was still an awesome show. It is a smaller venue than like what DC is, but the people amount seemed like a lot. It was a very busy show. It was a lot of fun. It's my favorite show still that we've done so far as, I don't know, the location and how it's run and the people. Hi, BW. Hop in. It was fantastic. So I had so much fun, and I really hope I can get my own table. If not, I'm going to keep going back and sharing with people. But yeah, it was a really good show weekend. I'm exhausted. I'm quite a bit of an introvert, and I spend the entire rest of the year not going out and like socializing very much. So I feel like I spend the pen shows are like, that's all my socialization for the whole year. It's like, that's all I can handle. But it's amazing. It's amazing being in a crowd and a community of people that are all passionate about the same thing. And, you know, after you've gone to shows for a while, you you meet everybody. You essentially end up to a point where you've met everybody that it come to shows anyways, and it's like a family, and it was so fun to get to spend more time with all of them that were there. And yeah, I met a lot of new people too, which is fantastic. And I absolutely love meeting, customers or even just people who care about pens, whether they buy from us or not. Meeting people in person is so different than doing everything online especially when you do like a mostly online business like we do. So that's not nice. John just chased Luna, our dog, with the air compressor hose because he was spraying himself off. And she is a weenie. She is a baby. Everything scares her. I'm sure she scuttled away from you.
Scuttled so fast she fell over.
She fell over.
I know, I felt a little bad.
You should feel bad. It's so mean. Anyways, John held down the fort with the kids
Something like that.
this weekend. He did his best doing that. And it was a good show. And we only have 1 week. We are leaving in 1 week for Orlando. So next Wednesday is Orlando for the Orlando Pen Show, which I am also super excited about. But man, yeah, it's going to be a crazy week for sure.
I mentioned the Halloween Horror Night.
Yeah,
but do we have a price point set for the parallel pens yet?
No, I have no idea what those are going to cost yet. Either. They're probably going to be very similar to what our fountain pens cost, to be honest.
Yeah, a bit less.
Maybe a little bit less. So if I had to throw a random number out, I think like one. What? That's so cool looking.
Don't show that. Don't show that. You can't see it.
It's a noodle. I don't know, 150, 160 maybe. Once noodle is
I made
cool.
It from that.
That's neat.
I'm gonna put that on one of those brown pens maybe. I don't know.
Is it acrylic or is it the Cassian?
That's stinky stuff. One of these. So
it's not as stinky as other stuff that I've smelled.
It's poly resin, so.
Okay. Well, then
acrylic, I guess.
If it's, I think polyurethane, so it's. I don't think it's an acrylic.
Acrylic too.
Is there?
There is a polyacrylic.
Well, that's annoying. But anyways,
I don't know.
What were we talking about?
You were talking
parallel
about
pen. I would, if I had to guess a random number without us actually sitting down and figuring it out, probably 150, 160, somewhere around there. Yeah. Because it is still threaded and a multi-piece pen, and at that point, yeah. And we have to actually buy the parallel pens to be inserts, essentially. So that's part of that too. So yes, similar to our fountain pens, I think. A little bit less.
Yeah. You talked about the show already? You talked about day by day?
I got there on Thursday.
Are you gonna do a
no.
show recap?
No.
Oh, okay.
I told you my show recap. That's my show recap.
You should have recorded it, dude.
No. No, John gets all the tea. Y'all don't. Not everybody gets all the tea. Some of the things you got to be there, But I flew on Thursday. Thursday they don't do a pre-show thing, which I appreciate. I'm not crazy about the VIP half days that they do, like in DC and Orlando does it. I much prefer that you, for like the all access pass holders, that they just get to come in early on that first day and get first dibs, essentially. It works a little different though in San Francisco because there are quite a few Japanese vendors that come and they sell out. Like people wait in line the entire first part of Friday trying to get the glass dip pens, the really fancy Urushi pens, some of the stationery stuff. Stationery stuff is crazy there. Like that's a big part of all of it. So, yeah, and me and Bart were in the furthest corner, tiny little room in the corner away from everything else, which was Not the most ideal location, but we did fine. Had some people are coming there just to see me and our pens. Bart had lots of people. So we still had a blast. We were beside Ben from Mayfair Pens. He was on the other side of our table, and across from Venice, which they sell a lot of stuff, a lot of inks, a lot of notebooks. They sell Galen leather. So it was good. It was a good little room, and we had fun. And I did keep us out of the hallway crowds for the most part, unless you had to try to venture out to go to the bathroom, which was a whole ordeal because the hallway when you come in is just so packed. The way that this show is set up is there's one big ballroom, then there's a hallway which has vendors and has 3 or 4 little rooms off of it, and we were the furthest little room. And then that hallway goes all the way around the ballroom, and then you have the main ballroom. So everybody's off of that for this show. So I don't know. It was fun. Mark from Rickshaw Bags is the biggest, I think, show sponsor there. And they're fantastic, and I love all of them. He's fantastic. His wife is great. We got to meet his wife last year. All of his employees. I think I met his son last year too. But Rickshaw Bags is a great business and so appreciated by small businesses like ours that they allow us to work with them. And they're from San Francisco, so that's why they sponsor that show. That's their home show. But yeah, I think that's it. I had fun. I didn't buy too much because I didn't have time to do a lot of shopping. So I got like the showing from this year and the showing from last year, which are both Colorverse inks. And then I bought 2 more Colorverse inks because I was trying to get a specific red that I then later found out that you can only buy in the itty bitty bottles and it's not available in the bigger bottles. So I'm going to be on the hunt for a replacement or a different one of those because I really like that particular red, which sounds so specific, but anyways. So I bought those inks, and then I did buy a pen from Ben at Mayfair Pens because he's got some very interesting pen models.
Also, I want y'all to know that he is a pretty established maker, and he uses single start. So, you know,
it is possible
when you're worried about spending $350 on a tap and die set, don't
start with
just
not
start with not that, and then work your way to it. Because other people have been buying his stuff for a while and they're single start. So,
yeah, and his stuff. If you go look, so Mayfair Pen, take a look at his Instagram and give him a follow if you're interested. But his shapes are very unique to him. His whole theme is Lord of the Rings and nerdy stuff, which is fun. I'm, not super Lord of the Rings nerdy, but a little bit. I like it. It's different than anything that we make, which when we're looking at kind of our collection of pens, we also like supporting other makers, so there's that too. And I was joking with Bart because, he's the table I was sitting at. I was like, Bart, are you going to be mad at me if I buy one of Ben's pens? He was like, no. But Bart and I are going to do an exchange already. He's making me his Pisces model, which has
for me?
No, it's the one that I bid on, that Lexi won. He even went and got Juma for it. It's the purple Juma body, and I think it had a teal cap. So he's gonna make me one of those, and we're gonna make him a stratified. So pin exchange for me and Bart. Yeah, which I love too, and that's how we got. Hi, Vinny. We got one of.
We're gonna see Vinny in Florida.
Fantastic. Got one of TriStar pens because he wanted to do a switch with one of his really cool, his big wood pens. So I picked the coolest, I think, wood. Was it Cocobolo? Or am I forgetting? I'm gonna have to look because I said it wrong and then he corrected me and now I have whatever it is. So can you also do engraving on our pens, like a person's name? No. You can on wood, you can on ebonite, but on most of what we do, which is a urethane resin, You cannot. It creates some kind of like deadly gas or something. Some people do etch, but that would be a different piece of machinery.
Yeah, it's kind of like kind of like how they do the vibration spinning thing on metal.
We could potentially do some kind of band that we could laser and then put it on. Yeah, see, we have a more surface laser than what I guess to do that. Yeah, we'll see you in Orlando in like a week. I was just talking about that. I just got back yesterday from San Francisco.
Yeah.
And we have so much to do in the next week. But it's going to be great. I'm very excited. We love Orlando.
I said that it was our favorite show because Universal's right there, and
it's our favorite trip.
Our date.
It's my favorite trip for us to take. I wouldn't say it's my favorite pin show, although it is. So it's a lot. At least, you know, in the past year, it's smaller than DC and San Francisco in a good way, in a not over. Oh, hi, Big Mac. Yeah, I'm back. I was gone. I was at the San Francisco pin show. Boss lady back. Yeah. Maybe a little bit of that, but what was saying? We do love the Orlando Pin Show. The location is fantastic. It's attached to the Florida. Is it just the Florida Mall, Orlando Mall? I don't know. It's a big, giant, fancy mall. The hotel is attached to. So that gives you lots of options for food and convenience of not having like to try to get Uber places if you're flying. And it's a smaller show. There's not an overwhelming amount of vendors, at least as of last year. I've heard that they've added a lot, so we'll find out. They haven't put the map out yet. That's supposed to be out this week, so I have no idea where we're going to be located in the show. We've just been in the main ballroom for the last, though I'm really happy with those. I think that's a ton of them, but I am happy with them. That's probably going to be one of those that we put like some of each out and then like replace them. These people are, it's fine. That's what we're here for. We're here to help. We're here to help. If you need help and want opinions on shows or what you need or whatever. No, we're good. We do our own thing. But yes, we like the Orlando show. I like the people there, and I'm like, so we like Joe, and he's Florida Fountain Pens, and they have a big Orlando pin club kind of thing, and we like all of them, so we like participating, going to that show because of that. Coffee money, thank you. Did you know that I am definitely still on West Coast time and not on this coast time? So I am so tired.
You're mad.
And I could use
Thank
coffee.
You.
So we appreciate it. But it was really fun. I had a great show. I had a lot of fun. I loved it last year. I loved it this year. I'm definitely going back next year. I am at the point, this confirmed that I think I'm going to add several more shows for next year. Right now I'm thinking maybe
John's gonna start being Mr. Mom.
John is a fantastic dad. And someone was talking about that. I'm like, John's been home now. We've worked together for 5 years. You're equally like, it's not a burden on you. You know what? Like, you already do all of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're equal parents and have been for years. So
she likes to think we're equal.
Hi, Michael, Mrs. Maverick. That's what
hey, what's up, man?
That's what Sean Newton calls me. That's what he called me the whole time. Every time I saw him,
Mrs. Maverick.
Mrs. Maverick.
Well, I think a lot of people thought that was her last name.
That's what he joked, but he was like, "Yes, it's Abbie and John Maverick." He said it was Bart Zodiac. It was like he was just adding, because that's what his company is, Newton Pens, which is his last name.
Sean Newton.
Yeah, Sean Newton, who's fantastic. He's great.
He is. Incredibly talented. He repairs a lot of vintage stuff.
He does, and he does a lot of pens and has quite a weighty a lengthy wait list. So getting a pen from him in person is the way to do it. He made a prospector, his triangle pen, out of my cosmic prism blanks that he grabbed from us in DC, and he said it sold right away. And someone was trying to buy it online before he even got there. Whoa. So he's gonna get That's in cool, he's gonna get in contact with me to get some more of those blanks.
He means brains.
I'm the brains. Brains.
What little does
no,
he know?
It's funny. It's like John's the idea guy, so he's kind of the brain. I'm the executor of the thing. I'm the doer. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know how else to say that. Not make it not weird. I do the thing. John thinks of them, and then I'm like, this is how we're gonna make it happen for the ideas that I like, anyways. And he knows I'm guilty of not having the support behind the ideas that I don't like. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad. Sometimes, you know, he would have done some of the things sooner, but it's hard to prioritize or to know what's going to work and what isn't going to work, and that's why testing things out is good and seeing how they go or whatever, something like that. Okay, well, I've got to go. I have packed absolutely nothing. I have an entire drop to pack today.
Yeah, I got two sets.
Tried the crayons first attempt didn't work. What did you try to do with crayons?
He casted them in resin, and I said the wax isn't going to hold together.
No.
Pencils barely hold together.
Wax is not. That's not going to happen. It will not. So I get resin everywhere.
Oh, you did it. You did it, Michael.
When I cast, I get it everywhere. Luckily, all of the packaging for everything that I use is also that like plastic. And I just pop it right off. Like, I'll get it all over my Divine Pigments bottles, and you just pop the resin off, or off of the containers for the eye candy pigments and stuff like that. So he's going to coat them in CA first.
It's still going to be soft, and it won't turn right.
As soon as you turn, unless you're planning on coating it in CA the entire time you turn, like turn a little more CA, turn a little more CA, you're still going to run into the same things. I'm not even sure that CA will coat them correctly. I don't know that CA will stick to wax. Just saying. Hey, Sean.
Sean.
I just got back.
What's up, man?
From California yesterday. I'm tired. John, this is John's first stream in a while, but he had me sit down and talk about the show for a minute. And we're leaving in a week for Orlando. So it's a little crazy. I had an appointment today, and my physical therapist was like, I feel like you're traveling all the time. I'm like, yeah, this is travel time of year.
Busy time.
Travel time of year.
I'm also prototyping on the 3D printer. I got some pretty awesome little things that I've been working on.
You know what happens every time you 3D print something? It pops up on my phone and says task success. So when I was gone the whole time, I was still getting notifications from our 3D printer. It seemed to help. Give it a shot. Worst case, it's only a few crowns and a bit of resin.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, copper does well in resin. There's some really cool copper stuff. You're about to leave Montana. Are you going back to Arizona?
Going to Florida?
Well, good luck with the crown. If it works, cool. I mean, I'm told we're big fans of just trying the things out, because you don't ever know until you do it. We've put things in resin that we were like, maybe it'll work. Some of them do, some of them don't. Is what it is.
We were hoping to surprise ourselves with some of our ideas. We're like, I don't think this is going to work, but we're going to try it.
Most don't.
And sure enough.
To be sure. Most of them don't work, but that's okay. But yeah. Sean said he just bought a Can-Am.
Oh, a three-wheeler.
Is it a trailer or is it a car or what is it? I don't know what that is.
Isn't that the three-wheeler, two in the front, one in the back?
The little
motorcycle type of thing?
Slingshotty cars?
No, not that.
Okay. 3D printer ways could be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It could be.
I'll have to
side by side? Oh, like, okay, so the Can-Am, like, Razor, but Can-Am.
Cool.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. John.
Is it a 2 or 4-seater? Are we taking the wives when we get together, or are we not? I guess is what I'm asking.
some of John and I's first dates were going four-wheeling in his Jeep, by the way. Racing.
Ooh. So a two-seater.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, he said two. All right. Well, I got to go. I have things I need to do.
Thanks for coming out.
But it was nice seeing everybody. I've barely even talked to John since I've been home. Ugh, no time. Yeah, I 3D printed that.
Rock on.
Stay at camp. The wives stay at wife camp.
Nice.
Fine,
Oh shoot, we going camping.
What?
Dude, we're gonna be in a tent. We don't have any.
Not me. Y'all can go.
We
camping.
don't have a recreational vehicle.
And 9 miles. That's pretty fast.
Oh man, that is fast. Probably feels really fast too.
I'm not camping.
Right, you're glamping.
I would glamp if I have a bathroom. You have to have a bathroom.
Michael said bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, here's the Magnum opus. Oh, let me show Sean right quick. Oh, Sean, check this out, dude.
Well, Vinny can come see it in person.
All right, this is our Magnum opus. I won't give you the whole spiel that I did before, but check this out. This is the little thing that it comes in.
We're not bringing that.
Ooh.
It's not going to come in that.
What?
Because it doesn't say close.
Well, it won't travel.
Yeah.
This is what it's going to be displayed in.
No, it's not.
Okay, well.
The case is too short. It's going to be on
Anyway,
the
we
ground.
got Mother of Pearl, Juma, Operex accent band coming down with a Bioloom, and then a Juma part here, and then a Juma section with another Operex accent, and then same thing down here at the bottom with a Mother of Pearl inlay. Abalone shell. But yeah, man, we're going to try to raise as much money as we can for the reef relief for this baby.
Win.
And win, because you can win the belt.
Yeah, they haven't tried this year, but it's cool. But I just thanks, Vinny. I hope it's cool enough. This was.
You'll get to see it in person.
I know, cause said.
They couldn't hear you, maybe.
Oh, maybe not. But yeah, it's not going in there. This is cool, but not. It's the crab. I took pictures of the crab.
Well,
It's gonna be the crab.
all right. You're yelling at me. Hurt so precious.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for coming. Stella went back on the VR. I said I pulled you away. She was trying to do a little momming, and I got her. I got her before. Thank you. We are quite proud of it. It's a lot of different parts or different pieces to make that bad boy happen. So we were quite proud once we were finally done with it. Yeah. But I will be making a video on this one too. So I've got like 5 hours to scrub through and try to condense that to, like 15 minutes or something. But yeah, I'm going to be turning a variety of blanks and diamond painting pen style. And then, depending on what time it is and what's going on, might be able to get to some other stuff. So I'll do some of these and then move over there. Move to that, rather. All right, so we're in good frame. Good. Let me switch that bad boy over. So, all right. Cool. So, here we go. Let me get back to it. But yeah, she was killing it. She was being modest, but yeah, she was killing it at the show, which is awesome. Shows are one of the biggest things as far as networking and getting your face out there, and getting people being able to get hands on what you are sharing, type of thing. So yeah, it's one of those things that if you do want to pursue it as like, maybe not exactly like your business, but maybe like a serious hobby, is how it's treated by some people too. So kind of a serious hobby is how some people are about it. And then there's also like the vintage collectors and stuff like that are there, and they've accumulated like from estate sales. some really awesome stuff. Which I was looking for something specific. It was a Waterman Commando is what I was looking for. So didn't find it yet, but I'm still on the hunt. Anyway, yeah, we got 2 sets of diamond painting pins to make, and then we've got 12 of the show pins to finish, and then like we'll see how far we get. We're just gonna keep going and as best we can, but yeah, just trying to crank out as much as we can before that happens. Yes, indeed. Ooh, this one's pretty sure this one's some. It's got a butterfly name. I think it might be Monarch, because we also did a sunset moth too that looks a little different, but yeah. Good times. Good times. So going back to leave Montana. Where are you gonna go? As you said, leaving Montana. Okay. Good. But yeah, things are going pretty well, and I am super excited about so much coming up. Really, I've got a couple different other pins in the works, pin designs. Now, I mean, I kind of thought about sharing the designs, but I've also kind of been like a little reluctant because, like, I want to create some inspiration, but I also don't want to, like, create something for you to just duplicate at the same time. So I'm kind of in a pickle when it comes to that. Moab with the new toy, heck yeah, dude! That's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be a lot of fun, I bet. Yep, we're good. No. Boom. But yeah, no rest. No rest. But yeah, I've been working on a couple different things as far as the 3D printing goes. And if you do happen to go for a 3D printer, the printer that we used or bought rather is the Bamboo Lab, because it was recommended by a few people. So we were like, you know what, that would be awesome. And it took like 30 minutes to set up or so, but it pretty much did all of its calibration, and it was really easy to get going. Yeah, how did I do that? There's going to be too much space here. I need to do something a little different. And thanks again, Ben. I appreciate that. Abbie was telling me about all the different things that, the conversations that she was having with the other makers and stuff, the different vendors that are there. It almost feels like we've found a place that we can feel good in. It's kind of, I don't know, different because the typical age of people like that are into fountain pens are usually on the older side. However, they are generating. More people are getting into fountain pens, like younger people and stuff. So it's nice. It's nice to see that. It's gonna let you know that it's not going anywhere. Hey Adrian, how you doing? Yeah, that was really the main course of the stream. Kind of showing the finished Florida pen, as well as getting Abbie out here to talk a bit about the same thing. So. Just doing our best to have a good time, So how many pins did that Can-Am cost, man? How many pins do you have to sell to get it? I've got some parallel pins in the works. I've got some forever pencils in the works, and then other fountain pins. I don't know if you're able to see the tight swirls in there, but man, they're cool. Like 10,000 pins. Sounds like you're not charging enough for each one. I'm just kidding. I hear you though. Hey Chris, what's up, man? How you doing? It's good to see you. I feel like it's been a while since I saw you. Lawrence, there we are. Yeah, it's a full house with awesome peeps. I don't need to continuously adjust this every time. That'd be a bummer. It's all right, Lawrence. I won't hold it against you. I won't hold it against you. I started my stream late too, so I was thinking about starting at like 7 a.m. I guess 7:30 a.m. But greetings from Ecuador. Oh, that reminds me. Thank you so much for reminding me. I gotta get Abbie to get me a map. Because I want to write down all the different places or scratch off all the different places that people are coming from. So thank you for that. I'm John. I am the turner of Maverick Pins and Butterfly Effect wares. And right now I am in Butterfly Effect wares mode. But later this week I'll change gears to the Maverick Pins.
Been making pins since about 2019, and we turned it into a full-time, right around that time as well. About 6 months after I started turning. Yeah. Man, we're excited about that.
Police state pins. Yeah, man. I saw those. Those were cool. You threw some antler on there, right? That was the antler on those?
That was good stuff, man.
Oh man, I just thought of something. Okay, I don't want to do it right now. I'll wait until I don't need that tool for a little while. And dyed, sweet.
Really cool, man. That's a quite involved pin that you made. Well, if she doesn't like it, let me know. I will, I'd be interested.
Using the wrong dyes. I don't know, is it coloring them?
Might be the wrong one, but if it works, it works. You talking about at the Turner Expo? Chris, is that what you're talking about at the Turner's Expo?
Admirable of you to do something like that for them. And people wonder where all the good people went. You know what? Just check this channel, man. You find some good ones here, good people here.
But once the shows settle, I've got
some plans to do some pins for teachers, for the kids' teachers. So
if my organization skills were better, I would set it up as like a group thing of like trying to do a teacher appreciation pin making day kind of thing. Let's see.
Yeah, man. The expo was a good time. It was good meeting you, for sure. So, this one needs to come down a bit more. Okay, so the thing that I was thinking about is because I have to do this every single time, because I can't go too deep. I can't go too deep with the beading tool because the blank is as thin as it is. I don't want to make it too thin in the middle, so that's why I typically avoid um, going too far, but then I have to do that finishing, and it just occurred to me that I could take this and then make it shorter, potentially. I don't know what it would actually do, but I was thinking about making that shorter, but I'd like to wait until I don't need it, or I have a backup just in case it doesn't work out. Let's see, Lawrence, let's see. That's awesome. I'm sure if you really, really wanted to do that, it'd probably be pretty simple to set up like the whole project sort of thing, and I'm sure people would be willing to donate um, maybe different components or blanks or something like that in order to help you make that happen. So if it was something that you really wanted to do, I mean, people would probably want to see like the specifics of it also. Yeah. It's hard to run projects like that, but you know, you can do it. But do you have any idea how much it costs, or no? There we go. That's good. Oh yeah, look at you. You're pretty. Yes, indeed. Hey, question to really anybody out there: is there was there an ad that played before you got into the stream? I'm trying to make sure that you, if you're here live, that you don't see ads on anything, because it's pretty annoying. Okay, good. Thanks, Vinny. You'd have to have help, yeah. It would be a pretty big undertaking, but you know, it could be a while in the making, and that's not a big deal. just as long as it, you know, kind of showing the progress and stuff like that, then people that did contribute would probably be satisfied with that. I know that if I donated blanks and I saw progress, then I would be pretty good. Sammy, you're on YouTube Premium? Yeah. Well, hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate that too. Let's see. Sammy, do you turn? I know you're coming from Ben's Ben's channel, but are you a turner? Are you like the idea of turning, or what? Well, right on, man. Well, I take like a minimalist approach to things, where less is more, for the most part. But yeah, there's a lot of awesome avenues to pursue, and you know, if you were in the market for a lathe, check out a variety of them. And but here I only turn pins. There will be rare occasions where I'll turn other stuff, but primarily all I do is pins. And but there's a lot of really good good videos out there. One of which that I would recommend, that kind of, I'd say probably contributed the most to my understanding of what turning actually was I think his name was Ben, or Sean, sorry. His name was Sean from Worth the Effort, is what the channel was called. And he does that too, still. I mean, he still puts out videos. Yeah. It's a dust collector, and it's a 1 horsepower dust collector. But it helps with the dust. It doesn't necessarily extract the noodles, these little guys, all the time, but it does pull the dust.
But it's a Shop Fox 1 horsepower dust collector. I wouldn't necessarily feel like I would need, if I was trying to figure out if I liked it or not. When I bought this jet lathe here, I think it was like $750 when I got it. And then my initial setup cost about $1,500. Including the price of the lathe. But yeah. No! What's this? Alright, we're going to take it down just a little bit more. So what's the origin story of how I got started in DP pins? That's a good question. So my mom, well, let me back up. I wanted to do turning, or I wanted to turn, and then I didn't want to go overseas anymore. And so, like I said, that $1,500 is where we started with getting the equipment initially set up. And my mom wanted, or my mom was diamond painting at the time, and so I wanted to make her a different type of handle, so I did. And then I had done many before then, as far as like trying to do multiple iterations before it's starting to sell. So my mom, I guess, is the main reason. And then Abbie was also on board with doing the logistics side of the selling. So yeah, it ended up being because my mom is what actually showed me what diamond painting was in the first place. And then I figured that this is something that we can do at a reasonable pace with a reasonable volume. Like when Abbie and I started, we had a goal of like, this is how much money we need to make for us to actually be able to do this and be okay. So I kept doing what I was doing, and then we finally got it working consistently, and so we had done multiple iterations on what you're seeing now. But yeah, diamond painting pins just ended up being one of the things that is a collected thing. The other thing about it is people like to match them to their canvases, and they like the different colors, and Abbie likes the colors, so you know, there were a lot of green lights, I'll say. A lot of green lights on this, and it really didn't take us too long to gain traction, actually, because we knew what we were going to do as far as the plan. But you know, with every plan, you always take some turns here and there. So we were working on, you know, the whole marketing aspect of it. The business side is really is a hard part of it too. So like the whole customer service, the creating something that people would want, and you know, finding the right price points and stuff like that. But yeah. And so this was basically a creative outlet for both her and I that we could turn into, well, what it is now. We've been doing it for quite a while now, since 2019, I think. So almost 6 years, maybe 6 years. But yeah, diamond painting pins because my mom used them, and I wanted to make her a more comfortable one. And then Abbie was like, "Ooh, that's good. I like that." And then I started working on different designs. However, the designs, believe it or not, we were only doing the 4 bump and 3 bump for about the first year. We didn't even introduce different shapes until a little later. So people were wanting more of a variety of shapes. And then I tried a lot of different types of shapes, and there were a couple criteria that I had that I wanted to make sure that we didn't have any issue with, because some of these shapes can be extremely complicated to either turn or sand, and I wanted to make sure that it was going to be relatively straightforward for both. But yeah. Diamond painting pins wasn't my favorite thing to do, but I saw that it was an avenue for me to work on my skills of turning, be able to make things for people that would end up helping their hands, because that is one of the interesting things about when you make a custom pin, or you have a design that's a custom design. You're thinking about the person that you're making it for, and some of them you're thinking about like the ergonomics of it. Let me show you one that's like really weird, but people actually really liked it. So this one here is what we call a chrysalis, but you see how massive it is. You have a diamond painting tip in here and here, but these people are able to hold it. People with like arthritis and stuff like that, they can hold it, you know, like this, and be able to do the diamond placings. But it's simple, and so when you do something like this, you want to make sure that it's like good for the end user. And you know, I kind of thought about kind of a football shape, you know, but we call it the chrysalis because, you know, butterfly effect squares, the chrysalis. So it actually fit a few different bills at the same time, as far as the design and ergonomics of it. But people that aren't able to grab things that are narrow, like if somebody was trying to hold on to a pencil like this, or a pencil that was this width, like it's hard, right? It's hard to hold on to it, and then when you're pressing down, it can like slip up into your hand a little bit further and stuff like that. So that design kind of addresses all of those things at the same time. Although the design is extremely like simple, it still was able to solve different problems that some people had that do like diamond painting. So, you know, in some ways, this is just a way to help people do what they really enjoy doing. And so I'm able to turn, because I like turning, and then other people are actually getting the benefit of being able to get custom stuff made like this. But yeah. Maybe 2 pins a day. Yeah, I hear ya. But I guess kind of backtracking a little bit, the reason diamond painting pins worked out was because we were able to produce a certain amount of volume that would make it so we were able to pay the bills. So that's what we ended up building it up to, and then yeah, the rest is history. But it was a good time. It was a good time. There's a lot of stuff to learn, and Abbie kind of already had some of the know-how for Etsy because she had sold other stuff there before. But yeah.
Kind of a long-winded story to say, my mom wanted a pen, I was turning, and so I made her one from the property that she was at, and then she liked it, and then we offered it to other people too, and saw that as an avenue to pursue. Yeah, man, absolutely. Thanks for asking. I should also mention that this fit the bill too because they're pretty small. So other turners, one of the problems that they run into when they have customers like all over the US and even international, one of the problems that they have is shipping. When you have like a large vase or you have like a large bowl or something like that, shipping becomes a lot more complicated. So this was also a smaller package thing that also fit the bill. So again, it was another one of those green lights that I had mentioned before. It's like, yeah, this is a good direction to at least try. I'll tell you this other little tidbit too, that was kind of a rule of thumb, is if our goal was to make $1,000 a week, the minimum amount of inventory that we would make would be at least worth $1,000 total. And then that was kind of the initial mindset that we had. So we tried it out before actually leaning into it. So on the outside, it probably just looks like, oh, we're successful and we're selling diamond painting pens and fountain pens and stuff like that. But you know, you're only seeing the result after years of trial and error and stuff like that. But there's a lot of different techniques that you can use or strategies that you can have. But at the end of the day, you have to find what works for both you and your customer. And, you know, at the end of the day, when you start your own business and you're starting something like this, a lot of people think you become your own boss. Well, you don't necessarily. If you're taking custom orders, everybody becomes your boss that's giving you a custom order. And we knew that we didn't want to do that avenue, so we'll do it sometimes, right? But that's not what we wanted to actually structure it like.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that people kind of fizzle out quickly because they're trying to please everybody. And when you try to please everybody, you end up pleasing nobody. So, at least that's what I have found to be true. Your results may vary. But yeah, for example, if I was to put a clip on my fountain pen, I would make some people happy, but I would also make some other people unhappy because they're like, oh, I want that, but I don't want it to have a clip. And yeah, that's actually something that's not unusual, by the way, because clips can take away from the actual blank itself, and that's a part of why the person's buying it, because they like the way that it looks. And you know, it's one of those things that you got to trial because the people that you're attracting, you have to determine what they want to see from you, or they want to learn from you, or they want to purchase from you. All those different variables have to be taken into consideration when you are building up your plan. But yeah, going back to the 1,000, at least, I'm just saying 1,000, by the way. It wasn't specifically 1,000, but we knew how much money we at least needed to make, and we were able to do that, and that's how we kind of segued into it. I was also really close to my business degree. And then I realized that I don't need it because I don't need to get hired by myself. But I mean, I'm also the type that I prefer to work by project rather than by hour. I'm sure everybody's heard the story of the tortoise and the hare. Well, I was the hare. I didn't used to be the slow and steady all the time. I would come out here and crank out like I don't know, be out here for a while, crank out like 50 things. Maybe not 50, but crank out quite a few things, and then I would stop for a long time. It would be, I'd get sidetracked and do other things, but I've adjusted since then a bit, but I still do get sidetracked quite often because I'll have a random idea, just like that beading tool. Like this thing, I was just thinking about it. Like every time I go into a blank, I can't go too deep, but it makes it so you can't actually use the entirety of the cutting surface here at the base, and so you're not actually getting this particular shape of bead. And so I was thinking about shortening those wings there, and I think that would make it so I could, not have to spend so much time refining that little bit in between the rings or the beads. But I don't know, because I've never tried it before. It's just something that I'll probably do here in a little bit once I don't need it, at least this week. So worst case, I mess it up and then I try to regrind it. If I can't regrind it, then I'll have to get another one. So
Yeah. Anyway, I think it's about time to change gears. What do you think? About time to change gears, maybe? Yeah, we can change gears. It'll be alright. I did quite a bit of turning yesterday too. So we're gonna switch it up and turn some of the mermaid pens for Florida. Yeah, between yesterday and today, these are all of the ones that I've turned. So these are going to be for this coming week, and then these are going to be for these over here for this coming week. These over here for when we're gone. So when you're running multiple avenues in a business and you go on trips like this, like the pin shows, we have to, like, if we want to work in a break, we can do that. If we wanted to, let me turn Morty off. It was one of those things that we had to work out, like, a little bit of the logistics of it all to make it happen how we wanted it to. And you know, we were able to build up enough people that like and support what we do, that we were able to, you know, almost reliably count on that income, and that's awesome. So I just want to continue offering value and, you know, continue doing what I'm doing. That way, you know, you can see that it's possible. If you want to do something like that, that you can. It just is going to take work, you know, like, not join my course for this and I'll teach you how to do everything. Like, yeah, that's fine and dandy. Somebody can tell you all the answers, but at the end of the day, you still have to do it, you know? And I think that's something that gets kind of lost, especially in the social media world. You just kind of see somebody that's doing it, but you don't actually realize how much time and effort has to go into the back end. So it looks all cool and sexy in the front, but it has other challenges that are not visible, and people are basing it off of, you know, their success, right? Their experiences and or what they heard from other people. There's a good chance that if you're like, oh, I'm gonna go be a turner, and you're like in high school, or you know, you have like a 6-figure job that you're doing, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go be a turner. So you're gonna not do that, and then yeah. You know what I'm getting at. I hope you do, at least. But yeah, the grass is always greener where you're not. And, you know, that's kind of true in life, I would say. You see somebody like performing at a high level of whatever it is that they're doing because they've been doing it for so long, and then you have that idea like, well, yeah, I can do that. Like, yeah, absolutely, you could turn, no problem. And turning isn't necessarily the biggest problem. The biggest problem is, you know, matching what you're doing with the people that you want to do it for. So that, I would say, is the harder part in some ways. But on the other hand, too, I think that social media is fantastic in the sense that you can share something, and when you continue sharing something that it's like in line with what you started sharing, then you're going to naturally just progress, and people will start seeing you more and more. I mean, just like the YouTube, I don't announce anybody to anybody that I'm about to stream. Now, that's actually a bad thing on me, but at the end of the day, what it proves is that you don't have to have a whole group of people around you first in order to begin, if that is something that you want to do. I don't know. Just here I am, just kind of spilling my thoughts. Abbie has jokingly said, you know, you should name your channel John Thoughts. It's like, no, we'll not do that. But yeah. Let's see. So I'm changing gears. I'm going to get set to do these fountain pens, and they're all going to be Marauders. So that's pretty cool. And I've already done the sections of them. So that's what this looks like, you know, a little bit individual and a little bit more up close. But didn't even clean out. I finished turning them. Abbie sands and polishes them, and then she runs them through the ultrasonic to get the polish off, and then that was pretty much it. And then we would make sure that everything was good, and then put them together, and then put them in the container to create listings for later. But one of the pens that we sold, unfortunately, had some of the noodles on the inside. Not noodles, but a little bit of dust. So that was unfortunate. But I mean, it is kind of also a byproduct. Like you can see, maybe not, but when you're drilling, there are little pieces like this will eventually come out. I can show you. Okay, maybe it won't. Oh, wait. Get out. Fine. There we go. Almost. So we got like noodles in here from drilling in the first place, and yeah, you don't want that. And here you thought the Marauder was one of a kind? No, it's limited edition though. Limited edition made by yours truly. But yeah, all these caps match the section. By the way, that's how they were. That's how we made them. So this is a blue cap with the blue section, and then the purple cap with the purple section. And these are called Mermaid, I believe. But these will be, yeah, at the show. All right, so because I'm changing gears, don't get on me because I gotta find some of my stuff. I want to go ahead and also say that, believe it or not, I tried to be as good as I could while using the tape, because I wanted it to make the mandrel itself just a little bit more girthy. But what you have to remember is that it can still throw it off, because I use this in the 3-jaw chuck over there, but I also use it in the collet, and unfortunately it doesn't hold perfectly because there's just a slight deviation. And when you have a tiny little deviation at the beginning, as you get further out, it becomes more and more drastic. So just kind of keep that in mind. Yeah. What does the double thread? I don't know what the double thread taps and dies would cost. I use single or triple, but I would imagine it would be similar to how the triple is, because of how they make them. You have to set up the machinery for making those, and when you're cutting triple lead, that's what it is. It's got 3 different starting points for the threads. So the triple lead costs about $250 to $300 depending on what size you got, and it's the tap and die. But the mandrel itself is actually relatively inexpensive compared to that, so that's pretty fortunate. Although you can still make one on your own if you really wanted to. But basically it would just be this. And I have made my own mandrels as well. I just kind of opt not to do that because the metal ones last longer. Like you can see, I've even trimmed some of these down to give myself a guide. And then if you take a look at Abbie's, hers is quite sanded a little bit. And I'm pretty sure these are also 15 millimeters. So if you have a collet and you're wondering about what size that you would need, that's a 15 millimeter, which is this is, where's the 15? Here we go. So 15 is about 19/32 if you're looking at fractions. So this is a handy little card here. I got it from Rockler. So I don't know. It doesn't want to focus, but it's got the fraction, decimal, and metric on it, and it goes from 1/64 to 1 inch. So really handy little card, especially for my purposes because I turn things primarily that are relatively small. Okay. Let's see. Move some stuff out the way. But you don't need triple lead, and you don't need double lead either. What you just, like, if you're in the learning stages of something, I think I've said it before, but the learning stages, when I was figuring out how to do stuff, like, I was like, oh, this will be great. And this is just a thread finder. I knew that I wanted to do like a 1/2 inch. That's, one of the sizes that I knew that I would need to drill. So I got, these are called thread finders, and it's got, like, basically this would fit into the back end of this, and that's kind of what I started with. Can't say I'm proud of where I began, but you know what? I am quite proud of how far I've gotten. And that was more or less my starting point with, I never heard of taps and dies. I had never heard of triple start. So y'all just being here, you were more familiar with anything that I was, like, when I started turning. It's just kind of funny to think about, but yeah, y'all are more y'all are more familiar with these things than I was when I began. And that's, kind of the goal for what I do here on my YouTube is basically just share the different things that I've learned over doing it, and make people mad by not wearing my mask when I turn, or when I use my metal lathe. I like it when people tell me that I'm doing it wrong, because I have an idea how to do it, and then I start doing it, and then I realize that some things are not working optimally, But if I never started, I still wouldn't know. So, there's a lot of little valuable lessons in there, I suppose. Yeah. But this is going to be what we're working on next. And this, I should be able to crank these out pretty quickly, actually. Because everything's already set, everything has already been measured. Let's see, that's a lot of money for you? Well, Lawrence, man, I recognize that. And that's a part of why I try to encourage you to get the metric and or imperial tap and die set from like Harbor Freight or something like that, because I think they're like $15 or $18 for an entire set. Like, and that's what I did. That's where I began. Like, I started with a cheap tap and die set, and obviously I still have it. But yeah, I just started with something like this, and then just kept working at it. And then I finally bit the bullet once I got comfortable with the process that I was doing, and I just got what I needed as far as the triple lead. So pretty cool. And with single start, I'd say that there's absolutely some pros to single start, because you can make that pin line up every single time, because there's not going to be any deviation. So if you are going to use a single start, I would recommend, trying to differentiate yourself by being like, hey, I line this up every single time. And you're able to do that because it's only one start, one starting point. Whereas the triple, it creates a different kind of problem, potentially, if you're not ready for it, I guess. Like, I had a lot of learning to do, and I was determined to figure it out. So there were minimal resources online when I began too, and so that's also the other reason why I thought it would be pretty cool to have a channel like this one, that I can kind of share my findings and get some ideas from other people, maybe that are coming from different walks of life, that maybe they're coming from primarily ring turning or something like that, and then they can end up telling me about all the different types of inlays that you can use, because that can also be applied to pins. Like, if I wanted to do an inlay, if I wanted to do a ring kind of inlay, I could just cut a channel right here. Like, that's really neat. But if you didn't know how, or you didn't even know that you could do that, then you never would. Or you'd think that you came up with a brand new idea, which, it might be a brand new idea to you. Doesn't necessarily mean it is a brand new idea though. Which there's a high probability that it pretty much never will be a 100% original idea, depending on how many variables you're pulling from. Because there's a lot of different things that you can incorporate into what it is that you're doing. And thinking about, like, Lawrence, if you were to start making fountain pens, bespoke fountain pens, you could put antler on it, and that would be totally different than any pen that I've made, because I don't use antler. And that's just an example, but you get my drift. It's a bad time to hit that, man.
But yeah, I try to share as many little tips and tricks as I can as I remember them or as I come across them. So y'all can actually like benefit from it and then narrow that window of time to actually be able to turn something. Because I mean, at the end of the day, that's why people watch YouTube, and that's why people are watching people that have been doing that type of thing for a while, because they want to learn, or they just like watching it. Either way, I'm cool with it, but if you can shorten that gap, the time gap of learning and then being proficient and stuff like that, you know, the more you're going to be able to do, and then, you know, what kind of value would you put on something like that? And that's how I see some of those online courses. It's like, you're just trying to sell me the course. You want to see how I'm successful? Here, buy my course. Oh, that's how you're successful. You just sell people courses. Sure. There are people like that, and they're offering value. Maybe not to you, but there is value. To a lot of different things. But I don't have a course. My course is online. Like on my YouTube that you can watch for free. ACW, hello. I am making a fountain pen barrel right this moment. I'm trimming it down. Maybe I've gone a little too far there. Maybe a skinny one, which is okay. Just need to make the cap also match that. Yeah, once you figure something out and you get comfortable with the process, that's when you should start like adjusting. But one of the, you can probably imagine, one of the things that bother me the most is when somebody like, let me back up a little bit more. When I start something and I'm trying to iron out the process, I don't do it until I get it right, if it's something that I'm going to provide to people. I do it until I hardly ever get it wrong. And I think that is a totally different mindset than what quite a great deal of people have. So you don't do it until you get it right. You do it until you're hardly ever getting it wrong. And that might sound like a foreign concept to some people, but you know, that's kind of how I trained when I was in the military. Because if you get it right once, that's great, but we're not looking for being able, in my line of work, we're not trying to save somebody's life by accident. We're trying to do it on purpose every time. I was a combat medic in the military. That's kind of what I'm pulling from. But that's probably a foreign concept to some people, or they've just never thought about it, if I had to guess. But, man, those are also lessons that I try to instill in my kids. Great, you did it right. Good job. Let's do it right again, and again, and again. And that, I would say, is more important than being able to do it once. Like, you've heard of beginner's luck, right? I'm sure everybody's heard of beginner's luck.
where they did it once, almost by accident seeming. You're like, how the heck did you do that? But then they can't repeat it. Which, you know, is not ideal. Got my little tray over here, that's why I'm so close to the camera. This is going to be a disaster. You can see it happening already. There. My tray falling off, that is. But yeah, I'm working on a set of fountain pens. My first fountain pen took me about 15 hours to make. Yeah. And it was a stinker. And then the next one took me like, I don't know, 7 hours to make. And then the next one, progressively lowering the time as I got better and better.
This isn't a TED Talk. Huh?
But I don't think, if you don't have patience, then I don't necessarily think that this is a good avenue. Because it does take patience, and it will take time. And you can obviously shorten that time, but it's never zero. And I think that's what people honestly hope for about some things. Is they want the time to be like nothing. And each one of these pins so far probably have about 45 minutes to an hour of work in each of them so far. If you were wondering, as far as like how long it takes me to do stuff, probably have about an hour invested in each of the pins. But I don't try to churn out as many as I can. It's not really my intent. Like I like being able to make quite a few, but each one I want them to be a certain way, and I'm kind of unwavering on that being the case. So when I brought up that example of the noodles coming out, that was kind of a thing that we reevaluated our sequence of finishing the pen and putting it away. Yeah, we reevaluated that, and obviously you don't want noodles in there, but sometimes it can be, you know, missed throughout the process if it's not a part of, well, a checklist type of thing. We had to, I mean, even after doing it for a while, we had to reevaluate that part of the process. So we're still tuning the different processes that we have. And, you know, if you saw me making them, like even from when I started streaming, I've learned different ways to go about doing them. Even from when I started streaming, only about a year ago. So my process is slightly altered, but still ending up at the same finish line, you know? But I love figuring things out. That's a part of why I like things as much as I do. Well, turning things, that is because I like figuring things out. And if somebody gave me the answers to some things, I would probably not find as much joy in it. But there's also the other aspect of it is, if you've worked on something for a while and you still aren't able to do it, you would need somebody to maybe see where along the way the process of theirs is different than yours, and then maybe you go and refine some of those things. But yeah, I like it. It makes me happy, brings me joy, brings other people joy, which also brings me joy. All those things. And that's another thing too about the business/hobby aspect of it. I'm sure if you've been on any pin makers forums or in any Facebook groups, you've probably at least seen it once where somebody was like, yeah, I don't want to turn pin making into a business because then it makes it work. Which, you know, that's a legit thing to say, I suppose. But it also comes back to how did you structure everything that you're doing. Because if I was doing customs always, that would be exhausting as heck. But I don't. I mean, it's custom to what I have designed it to be, but not necessarily custom to another person's specs. But yeah, like I said, that comes back to how you structure what it is that you're doing. Some people love custom work and they want to get these different ideas from people. They want to make magic happen. I want this and that, and I want you to incorporate this, and it'll remind me of that. And
Yeah, I'm not saying don't take those projects. I'm just saying be more choosy about what projects you take on. At least that's what I would do. Or that's what I do. Not would do. That's what I do.
the other thing I always like to say is, it's not the way, it's a way. This is also why I like a variable speed lathe, by the way. So if you were in the market for a lathe, variable speed. nice. Very nice.
When we sand it between like 7 and 900 in that area. And then polishing is done at like 2000. And if I had to change the belt back and forth, it would be broken up into different processes, most likely.
But because we're able to sand and polish, or because we have a lathe that has a variable speed,
We're able to sand and polish back to back without having to change the belt.
if you don't know, the reason I'm using a file is to smooth out the surface overall. So when I'm turning, sometimes you'll go deeper in another area and shallower in another area. So ultimately what I'm trying to do is get the tool marks out and make it easier for Abbie to sand. And then you're also doing kind of the final dimensioning of the pin here too. So the file is a fantastic way to do that. And again, I turn it way down to 500 to 700 or so when I'm doing the file, because I don't want it to heat up. I don't want it to go super fast, because what ends up happening is if you're sanding too fast, unsupported, or even just sanding, it'll be just like when you're turning something that's slightly off, like offset. It will make it so you're really sanding only part of it. Sometimes you can have the speed too high and you're not touching all the surface of the cylinder, of the cylindrical shape that you're doing. So having it at a slow enough speed ensures that you get all the surface uniform. Just another little tidbit that we've learned over a significant amount of trial and error. Go. One more barrel, and then I'll be able to switch to caps.
also, like I was saying, if it's easier to learn one thing and get proficient at it than it is to learn 50 things concurrently and expect to be good at it. I'm also like, I could turn a bowl, right? I could if I wanted to, but I don't because a variety of reasons. But on the other hand, I'm also not good at it, and that's partially because it's not my focus. It's not my main focus. I don't do that. I say I don't do that, but I have. It's not my main focus. Hello, how you doing? Mindset. Is that French? Is that French? Your last name? I ain't gonna answer. Hello, how are you doing? Good to see you. And I also mostly work with resin, is the other part of it too. And so, like even more specifically, I work with Abbie's resin primarily. Her resin pours. So it's very familiar to me turning this type of material because that's pretty much all I turn. I mean, I throw in other things here and there. You saw with the Juma and my Carta. So I do still get exposure to those things on purpose. Hey, that could be cool to add to this. And so that leads to just a whole variety of other things too. When you start incorporating other materials, you're really starting to make it even more unique, we'll say. Doesn't necessarily mean good. Makes it unique. Sometimes you have this idea in mind, and then you start doing it, and then it ends up being a stinker. But hey, that happens too. You gotta keep trying stuff. Especially if you haven't quite found that thing that you want to do. You gotta keep trying stuff. But yeah. I don't know if Vinny's still here, but I started making kit pins first, and we did a little market research, and we were looking on Etsy because that's where we were going to sell. So that's where we did our little bit of market research. And there were tons of people selling kit pins. And so you start wondering, how can I make myself stand out when I turn kit pins? And there is absolutely a way to do that. I'm not saying that there isn't, but there were so many people doing that, but there were not very many people turning diamond painting pins. So that is another reason why we lean more into one over the other.
Everybody's so quiet. I hope I'm not in here all by myself. By myself. I'm in the garage by myself. I hope. I don't see anybody. Could be somebody. Some of these sections I need to take down just a little bit further. I can feel that they're touching the outer part of the cap. So I'm going to need to adjust that. And that's just a quick little sand. Or let Abbie know. That way she can do that. I guess next time. Because it's inside. Next time. Come on. Is anybody watching the show Stranger Things? We just started it again, and because they did the new one,
Twisted Metal is the other one that we're looking forward to. But we didn't watch that because the kids were in school. Now Abby and I'll have a break time where we'll be able to watch Twisted Metal things. Alrighty. I think we could just back this up enough. Haha! Alright, let's see how this fits and see if we need to adjust here. So, this is what we're looking at here. So, mermaid blank, and then yeah, that's the one that I said was going to be too thin, or not too thin, but is quite thin. So I need to make this cap quite a bit thinner, probably by 0.5 millimeter. And when you're talking about 2 millimeters, that's 25%. So that's why I said quite a bit, by the way. Can't say quite a bit and then just talk about a tiny little measurement. Well, that's why, because it's still 25%. There. Once I get it dialed in, I'll know what right looks like, and then I'll be able to repeat it a little easier. Yeah. There we go. Let's put that on, put this together. Put a section in it so y'all can get the whole picture, you know? So this is what I am working on. So there we go. There's that, and then that. My pins don't usually post. I wouldn't consider this one that posts, even though it would fit in the very end. But yeah, that's one done.
So if you were wondering how long it takes me to make one, if I was to do it from start to finish, including sanding and polishing, it would probably be about probably around hour and a half to 2 hours. And that can vary depending on the material and the complexity of the specific project and all that. Just a standard one, it takes me about an hour and a half to include sanding and polishing. But I don't usually just make one at a time. I have, obviously. But when I was doing just one at a time, I didn't really time myself. The only reason I did time myself was to see if things were more efficient one way versus another. And somebody else had asked me how long it took, and I didn't know. Also, for whatever reason, when I'm turning a translucent, I can see the different layers. So my first drill bit goes up to about right here, and then my other drill bit goes the rest of the way to create the space for the nib for it to rotate when it turns on the inside. When you put the pin together. I always get a little nervous because I don't want to go too shallow. I want to make sure that you have a decent wall thickness to make sure that the pin isn't just going to break on somebody. Yeah. Now I'm just leveling everything out. And then I'm going at an angle like this because if I was just to hold it flat, it wouldn't actually create the taper that I'm going for. So that's why I kind of rock it at a tilt. And that's how I can get the taper that I'm going for. And then I'll switch it up when I go back here because I want like from here to be relatively flat and then tapered on basically the top third. So if you break this up into thirds, which is how I look at it, you might not, but that's how I look at it. So you break it up into somewhat thirds. So this is about 2.5 inches. So 2.5 divided by 3. I don't know what that would be. 175 or 75. I mean. 2. Okay, so almost that. So like 8. So 0.8 or something, which will put us closer to like right here. So if you break it into like thirds, this would be 1. About here would be 2, and then this area would be the third that I create the taper on. So that ends up being about a little over 3/4 of an inch. Yeah. There's that. Abbie's going to be like, why are there marks there? What marks? There's no marks. I'm pretty sure there's a 1/3, 2/3 rule with a 33/66 rule. Whichever way you've heard it. Either way, it's pretty much the same thing. And then, let's see, the golden ratio is like a 1 to 1.6 or something like that. So if it's 1 inch, the golden ratio. Now this is actually for boxes, like little boxes that you would turn. And so you want 2/3 to be the bottom, and 1/3 to be the top, or so, around there. And that's how you get the ratio that looks best to me, at least. And a similar concept applies to the actual size of the barrel and the cap. So this is not overall, not necessarily 2/3 of the size of the pen, but it is over 1, and it might be 1.5 to 1.6 or so. 1. So the ratio is a little different for that, but I create the parts around the pieces that I want to put into it. And because the parts don't change, I don't have to change the pieces. Tom, what's up? Just in time to catch the last cat. And then I gotta go get some grub. I've only been streaming for 2 hours, but been turning for about 5 to 6. What time is it? Okay, about 3.5. No, 4. Yeah, about 4.5 hours. Tom. I don't think I've seen, well, maybe I have. I've seen a Tom. I don't know if I've seen you specifically. But it has been pretty quiet, I gotta say. Which isn't unusual for... Yeah, I hear you. I hear you on that. I actually loaded up on a whole bunch of stuff yesterday too. I was working on diamond painting pens. That's cool, man. What type of stuff do you do? Don't mind me asking. Or are you a turner? There you go. You can ask. You can answer either one, or not. But have I seen you here in the live before? I don't know if I have or not. Oh, that's cool. You woodworking as a hobby? Instructor for the military? Cool, man. I was an instructor too.
No.
Right on. Well, thank you so much for being here and stopping by again. Yeah, it means a lot.
And also thank you for your service.
I don't know you in real life, do I? I have never met you in real life, have I? All right, just making sure. But yeah, what branch do you teach? It's really cool. I was an instructor for 5 years at the Air Rescue School.
And despite being non-involved, to go to that assignment, really enjoyed it. So, pretty fortunate.
Ah, gotcha. Oh man, that's cool. That's cool. Cybersecurity. Wow. Here's a random thought that I had that actually might be right up your alley as far as being able to answer it. But you know how there are some polls that are taken and it's based on your geographical location, but these polls are done online, right? So I kind of preface it like that because it's crazy to me that you can use a VPN and put yourself in like any state. And so when you do that, it crossed my mind that those results would obviously be skewed because people, like I can basically make my iPad be in whatever state I want it to be on the VPN. And if I was to like fill out surveys, the state that I was in would be able to like report that kind of survey or take it into consideration when they're doing their stats. At least that was my thought. I don't know how true that is. But yeah, that might be kind of up your alley there. You might be able to school me on that a little bit. Or not. Maybe that's privileged information. I'm not going to be privy to it. It's just kind of a random thought that I had. Lawrence, you're still here, man. Thank you. that was more of a speculation sort of thing than a fact, because I obviously don't know for sure. And obviously don't feel like you have to answer. But either way, I'll probably have my speculation nonetheless. Wow! Seeing you from Brazil! Hey, what's up? You're seeing me in North Carolina. That's so cool. That's so cool. Good to see you, Victor. North Carolina. Okay. Okay. I see what you're saying, Tom. I see what you're saying. Thank you so much, Victor. And now I want to know more about you. The reason, let me go ahead and say this too. The reason I even bother asking these questions is that's how I associate the names. That's just kind of how I am able to remember the names. I have to associate it with something, which is why I ask some things. So Victor from Brazil. That's cool. It's also scary. Do I need to change up something on my screen? Have like a constantly variable passcode or something like that?
Don't want anybody stealing my
1,300, 1,200 subscriber channel now. I worked hard.
But that's neat.
That is interesting. That kind of makes me have more questions than answering that person, I guess.
'Cause I wonder if surveys are also read
Based on like the computer serial number type of thing, or if it's based off of like your IP address or what?
because I don't know. That's so cool.
This is why I love turning as well, because turning is, you know, not necessarily universal, but a lot of people are able to do it, and other people find it very interesting and satisfying to watch. So the amount of good. Oh, thank you.
I lost my train of thought.
Oh, surveys. That's what it was. Surveys.
Tell you don't speak English very well, but you try to.
Man, I guarantee with what you've already said so far, you speak your second language better than I would speak your first language, so
I very much appreciate that. So we're not going to get any anything from me regarding your ability to articulate the English language.
Oh man, Tom, you blew my mind, man. You blew my mind. Thank you so much for coming in here and doing so. But that's what I was saying. It's awesome how many different types of people come in here. I do often see a lot of engineers, believe it or not. But yeah, I love all the different types of professions that people have and are coming from, and it really is incredible. I love meeting new people. So thank you very much for those answers too, man. I appreciate it. But I hope that your class goes well. It's crazy though. Man, nerd. I think I'd enjoy talking to you in person as well. I kind of gotta consider what I'm talking about in stream.
And be mindful of those things.
Vinny, I like you, man.
But it's pretty good timing anyway, because Abbie just told me that the pizza is about to get here.
I didn't even know she ordered it. I'm really excited. Okay, hopefully. Yes, that's a good fit right there. If you were interested in knowing the step that I look for from the barrel to the cap is about 1.5 millimeter difference from the barrel to cap. So it's about 0.75 millimeter on this side, 0.75 millimeter on this side. So overall, it's about a 1.5. If you wanted to know that. Oh yes, yes indeed. Let me turn off Morty here and wrap this stream up. Yes. All right. Looks like we're gonna do a standing up here. Let me switch views here. Boom. All right. Well, thank you all so much for being here. You made my day. I love pens. I love turning. If you have any questions about either of those things, I'll do my best to give you an answer based off of experience. And if I don't have that experience, I will pretty much say that I don't have experience. Not pretty much. I will say that I don't have that experience. However, I might still have ideas about it. So if that is a type of thing that interests you, go ahead and sub, man. Go ahead and sub. I enjoy your company. I do a lot of streams. I don't do a lot of videos. And that could possibly change here in a little bit, but not this time of year. This time of year for us is show season, so it's gonna pretty much just be lives for now. So yeah, I really appreciate y'all being here. It was good seeing all you again after a week and a half of not streaming. It almost feels like, man, I could get back in the groove of, you know, getting to see everybody, meet everybody again, and kind of do a little catching up. So definitely appreciate that. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll probably stream again tomorrow. Yeah. So I will see y'all next time. Take care.